First of all, I watched the movie and I'm still not sure what the title has to do with anything. Maybe I missed something, I don't know, but at least to me it doesn't make any sense. It's a pretty vague and nondescript title anyway, and they should have probably come up with something better. But on the other hand, it doesn't really matter because the movie has bigger issues than that. Or well, it has one big issue, and that's the script, the story and the plot. Which, to be fair, starts off well enough as we follow this journalist played by Anne Hathaway, who by the way I think was probably the best part of the movie and what sorta kept it from falling apart completely. But yeah, she works for the Atlantic Post and is used to covering tricky subjects, like guerrilla warfare in South America, which is a big deal since this takes place in the 80s. And that to me was a strong start to the story. I also noted that I liked the direction and the editing. So the intro sequence was good, I liked it, I had no issues with it at all. But immediately after that she's forced to pull away from that whole thing. And at the same time we're introduced to her father, played by Willem Dafoe. And that's more or less when things start to get awkward and the story goes down a path I didn't like. Because based on the intro I thought we were gonna deal with a serious journalist, covering serious issues, and I thought this was gonna be a rather serious movie. But instead it chose to go with a very Hollywood movie plot, and I didn't like that at all. Not only was it a disappointment for me personally, but it didn't really fit the character either. Because her motivations for doing what she does and going down that route were honestly really flimsy and pretty much went against her character that had just been established. So almost immediately it started losing me, but I still hung in there. I was still hoping it would turn into something different and interesting. And I was primarily hoping that the bigger picture story would come into play more. And that everything would tie into that, which it sorta did, but only in a very weak way. There are never any real strong connections and the overall story just starts meandering. Especially toward the very end when it starts to wind down and wrap things up. It felt like they completely ran out of ideas and just threw something together. And there's a good chunk there that feels utterly pointless and like it's just dragging out the inevitable end. I mean, there's a whole section that could have been completely cut out. And it wouldn't have made the slightest bit of difference to the overall story. Not to mention how Ben Affleck's character fits into it all, that felt very forced too. Like an afterthought. I mean, they didn't do much at all with him for most of the movie. And then suddenly he's important and apparently plays a crucial role in it. So yeah, I'm definitely not a huge fan of the writing in this, especially the story. It's just a bit of a mess, and at the end of the day the whole thing felt kinda pointless. But I will say I liked the dialogue, and for the most part I didn't have any issues with the direction or the editing either. And as I mentioned, I thought Anne Hathaway was the glue that at least tried to hold it all together. Although that didn't really save the movie from feeling like a bit of a mess overall. Mainly because of the script, but hey, how about it? Would I recommend it? Nope, there are much better movies to watch than this, so I'd say it's pretty safe to skip. Or you could not do that, after all, I'm not your dad. But hey, what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a thumbs up or sub to the channel, because that would be fantastic. And if you'd like, you can also support me on Patreon or PayPal through the links in the description. And as always, I appreciate you and thanks for watching.